All right, Mr. Jamison, let's break this down. Um, your stride reminds me of a lot of a kid I was just working with this morning. So I included him as a young kid when he first started out and his after to kind of give you an idea of where you're starting from and where you might go to. Okay. So the first thing I want you to watch when you're skating is your feet never recover underneath your body. Okay. And what that does, and one of the effects of that, is you're losing power driving side to side, and your stride or your skating is not as powerful as it should be, and you're not going as fast as you should. So you can see that right there, especially with this blue line. You can see this giant gap in between your legs. Okay, there's another video on here where I have some speed skaters on it, and you can watch them how their foot actually comes back to about the center line of their body or more. So that means that this leg would recover here or here a little bit more. Okay, so that's first. You really need to work on that recovery. All right, and we'll go over a drill to kind of help get that dialed in. Second, this long arms, you want to tighten up those arms and start controlling them. So it should look like that. It should look like you're running. Okay. It should be a 90-degree bend at your elbow. And then they should be moving at a 45-degree angle compared to your plane of movement. So there's your direction. When your arm's moving at 45 degrees right here to help create power and speed and compensate for your legs. So that's number one and number two. Those are your two biggest lifts. Okay. Along with those, okay, as you get older, we're going to start pushing you to get way lower in your strides. So you're going to see a video of me later on, and you can notice how straight your legs are right here, right? They're barely bent. Okay. You need to be way, way lower if you want to create a lot of speed and power there. So number one, we need to work on the recovery. Number two, we got to dial the hands in. And number three, we got to work on getting much, much lower. And right now, if you watch as a byproduct of your hands, watch how much flailing there is in your hands and how much your head moves. See that? Your head is all over the place because it's trying to compensate for how much these arms are moving and how much torque they're creating on your body. So get those under control and your head's going to be more stable. And if your head's more stable, guess what happens? The whole world's more stable. It's not shaking around. Okay. So those are your main points. And I'll show you a drill in a second that can help fix most of that. So here's that younger kid I was telling you about when he started. And so if you watch him, watch his head is flailing, right? His arms are a little bit wild. He had a little different problem than you, but his lower body is still not very good and he's not very low as he's skating. Okay. But clearly not the best stride right there. So here's the drill that we're looking for. And I'm sure that you've done this before, but to reiterate, we want to train our lower body, how to move, and train our muscles, how we want them to move. And we want to train which muscles to fire when. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again. We're going to do a drill slowly to train our muscles on how to move and which muscles to fire when. So listen to the words that I'm using to describe this very carefully because it is specific. Number one, giant, massive push. Okay. Obvious, we all know that as skaters. Number two, huge bend in the knee. Okay. You should be a little bit above 90 degrees, but for you, force yourself to stay down. And if you do this drill, what's going to happen, especially for you because it's uncomfortable, when you recover, you're going to stand up. And then when you go to stride, you're going to sit back down. Force yourself to pick a spot on the wall, to look at your stick, look at that spot, and don't let it go up or down, and don't let this tilt side or side. Okay? So the drill, push off, drag the tip of the toe of your blade. That's it. When you recover, all right, you're going to make sure that you want to recover with your foot, this foot, touching the boot of your other blade and the bottom of the skate blade, and then you're going to push and go. Okay. I sound like a broken record on here because I keep only using this drill, but it's kind of the first step of creating a good stride. So you'll notice on your stride, we're talking about bringing your foot underneath you and how that's what speed skaters do. This is what's going to train that. And then we got to start working on how to handle and hold your body. So from this position, we're going to be able to create tons of power because we're loading up power here, we're loading up power here, and then it's going to be released together in our stride. Okay. And of note for you as well, notice how I'm going to the right, and then I'm going to the left, and then I'm going to the right, then I'm going to the left. It's not a straight line as I'm skating. That's important. Okay. There's a little bit of a side to side movement in my stride. So if we watch you again, notice how there is not that side to side movement. You're just going straight forward. That's because there's not a massive amount of weight transfer or power being put down. Okay. It's just a straight line. So there's the drill you want to focus on. And this is the only drill you need to worry about right now. If you did this drill until you're perfect and you videotape it and you send it back, that's all you need. So here's that other player. This is about 4 or 5 years after that original video. So you can see much lower, knees are much wider, much more dynamic stride. He still has some issues that we're working on for him, right? His feet aren't coming fully underneath him like we were talking about for you, and his hands are too tight. But significant improvement from that first video, all right? So that should give you a lot to think about. If you have any questions, reach out, let me know. Love to help, dude. Talk to you soon.